Hello and welcome everybody
Hi.
to this inaugural live stream of Vegan ATF, Activists to Follow. And today we are talking about creating a vegan world with the wonderful Andrew Alexander. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us, Andrew.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into this conversation. It's such a great project that you're working on. I also want to just give a shout out to everyone who's tuning in from around the world. It's morning here, it's evening for some of you, late afternoon. Wherever you're tuning in from, drop it in the comments, if you want to, and share where you're coming from, because it's wonderful to have that global connective community here with us. So we've been trying to move away from doing the cliche interviews where we say, what's your vegan story? But in doing our research for this interview, we love your sort of vegan story and how I don't think any of us thought boredom could be a reason to get into veganism.
Yeah, we've heard a few, but this is a new one.
Yeah, we've heard some corkers, and like this one was a really interesting one, and it involves a website called meetup.org, I believe it was, and we'd love to have you share that experience with us and our audience.
Absolutely. I think it always needs explaining because just the word boredom by itself might have a negative connotation. But yeah, it was back in 2013, 2014, I built an internet business, an app company. And I was just traveling all over the United States. I was going from Phoenix to Seattle, all here and there. And then I was in Boulder, Colorado, and I just didn't really know anyone there, just kind of didn't have a community of people around me. So I went on meetup.com. I found a vegan group there that's hosting potluck dinners. And it was really just like needing connection and being part of something that pulled me into it. So when you hear like, why do most people start to go vegan? They say either it's like health, environment, or animals, where those came second, but it's really just needing that connection, just kind of boredom that pulled me into it. So it's really like the most welcoming community I ever found.
Fantastic. Yeah, that is so lovely to hear. And it's
you really found your tribe there, yeah, quite almost by accident, really. But
absolutely.
I want to give a shout out to some of the people in the comments, because we got folks here from Holland, India, Wales, Cymru Abydd. So I'm from Wales myself, but see, it's so great in this space how much the community comes together and where we all come from. So
absolutely.
fantastic.
Andrew is joining us from Wellington. No, we're in Wellington. I'm sorry, it's early in the morning. Andrew is joining us from Australia. We are in Wellington, New Zealand. I'm from the UK, and Gareth as well. So hi, shout out to UK and just everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And Andrew, I love your story, and it's so great how you found your tribe, and it has led you big time to where you are now. I think, we all play a unique role once we go vegan in helping to spread that vegan message and help the movement. You have done it in grand scale, though. Can you tell us about creating a vegan world? This is your labor of love, your enormous project, and the reason that you're here talking with us today. So would you like to tell us about that?
Absolutely. So I guess it started, back in 2016 when I first learned about veganism, but I didn't transition until 2017. Where I saw it, going to the activism events. I started handing out flyers in front of stadiums. I was seeing them doing the candlelight vigils in front of slaughterhouses, things like that. But it wasn't until maybe a year and a half later where I came back to Boulder after traveling, and I saw the community there and the number of vegan foods in restaurants, supermarket shelves. It was getting bigger, and I saw something was really trending. So there's the vegan side of me, and then there's the entrepreneur, just kind of innovator side of me. I was like, the world is trending vegan. Why is that? So I went vegan in 2017, helped start a vegan startup in the US. So that's selling ready-to-eat vegan meals. And then after living in Peru for 18 months, I came back to the US in 2019, and it's just much larger than ever before. So about probably a year and 4 months ago, I started to ask myself the question, what's causing veganism to trend throughout society? So I knew about animal rights activism. There's the Cubes of Truth, all the events on the street. There's companies like Beyond Meat creating great products. So before the documentary in the early stages, I thought, okay, activism on the streets and vegan companies, that's how we create a vegan world. But then I started interviewing people from all areas of society. So David Simon, he's author of Meatonomics, talking about the hidden forces that drive the economic system, how we could get vegan foods lower than the price of animal products. A vegan lobbying organization, they're helping shift government subsidies in Washington, D.C., materials innovators and interior designers, vegan chefs. People are helping make restaurant menus plant-based and adding options there. Lawyers, I mentioned economists, sociologists, communities, the medical profession, and everybody from all walks of society. The ultimate goal is to create a blueprint for how we could create, I guess, system-wide shifts faster than ever before. So like I learned all these different ways people are creating a vegan world, and I just want to, my personal goal is to create a blueprint. So number one, we can make a vegan world faster. And number two, when there's a future social justice movement or solving climate change, how do we get laws passed? What's standing in the way? How do we get investment dollars into companies that are making solutions to problems? How do we communicate people in a way where they actually hear our message, listen to it, understand it? So my goal is to create a blueprint so any future social justice movement can learn from what vegans did to make the world a better place faster than ever before.
Fantastic.
I love that. Yeah.
So it's something that really drew us, Vegan FTA, to your project as well, is just showing that diversity and the range that you're showing with this to create change, because we know ourselves as dedicated grassroots activists. We also know that there's that huge systemic change that needs to happen. We need activism across the board, and we need to be involved in every aspect, because you can't have the world if you focus on one detail. You know, you need that broad spectrum. And so we can't wait to be able to see this film in full, and we look forward to talking about this more. And just one of the huge things that's a real draw to me is the huge range of interviewees that you have in it, including members of parliament, the wonderful Emma Hurst for the New South Wales Animal Justice Party. We've done a bit of work with her, and she's absolutely fantastic. But doctors like Dr. Clapper, authors, nutritionists, interior designers, something so many of us in our vegan journey we don't think about until later down the track, the need for such things within the sphere. But of course, it's so valuable. But the film provides such a diverse range of insights and experiences. What are some of the key topics to you that this film really focuses on?
Like I said, there's like 50 of them. So before the interview here, I was like, which ones should I choose? So that's the hardest part, like choosing how to condense everything together. A few of them that pop out. Number one is we live in an echo chamber where you and I, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. There's algorithms that show us the content that we want to hear. So I could open up Instagram right now. It's like showing how the vegan world is growing, or problems in the world that that show that it's not vegan, like what we could fix. But there's so many people out there, billions of people, who will never hear that message because they're interested in things such as fashion, makeup tutorials, mountain biking, gardening, video games, entrepreneurship. So I actually got to interview Emily, I believe her name is Emily Walsh. She's from the vegan content creators community on Discord. It's a group of about 50 social media influencers, and a lot of them talk about topics that are not related to veganism. And the reason for this is because, like I mentioned before, so someone might have a channel on mental health awareness. They allow the vegan message to seep through existing content to meet people where they're at. So for example, I have another friend, he's a best-selling author in the entrepreneurship space, where he helps people start businesses for the first time. And he has a group of, I think, a community of like 60,000 plus people. And his most recent book is on the example of starting a vegan business. So even though it's not speaking to vegans, I see people in that community starting to go vegan because of it. So that's one area right there. There's a few areas I could jump into. I don't know if you want to ask questions on that one first.
I've got to say, I was looking around for my pen then, because I need to join that group myself, you know,
yes,
become involved.
Absolutely. We'll make sure that we check that out and provide a link somewhere. Definitely. But, you know, this is what we're here for, to help you get your message across. You're doing such important work. It has been a massive, massive project for you, and it's ongoing. And, you know, we'll talk more about that soon. I love a quote. You come out with some great quotes. And one of the ones that I really liked was, you know, the mainstream sees the rise of the trend, but it is the work going on behind the scenes that causes the world to change. I really like that. And it's so true in the diverse, huge number of people that you brought together to help you, you know, provide the content for this documentary. Without giving too much of the film away, are there any interviews that really sort of most surprised you or shocked you? I'd love to hear about. You must have just learned and seen so much during this time.
Yeah, there's a lot of great things that went on. There's material innovation. There's new equity crowdfunding laws, where previously, I guess, people had to be an accredited investor, $200,000 per year in income, or a millionaire to invest in early stage startups. And there's new laws that allow everyday investors, people like you and I, people who make 30,000 a year, 40,000 a year, to help invest in vegan companies. So if you know the show Shark Tank, where there's a panel of 5 investors and probably 20,000 or 100,000 companies try to get investment from them. So there's a limited amount of supply and capital from them. But I interviewed Mark Winstein from Vegan Launch, and he's dedicated to creating a movement to allow $3 trillion that us vegans have in public stock markets to be able to invest in early stage vegan startups. So there's things like that where I learned really like cutting edge things and like breakthrough things or things I haven't heard about. And a lot of people in the early stages where there's another person just like him starting a vegan investing club where I was there from the ground up, where he's like, okay, we're going to buy the domain name, we're going to put it together, and now it's 10,000 members. But the most surprising one is probably one of my first interviews with Paul Shapiro. He's the author of Clean Meat, where he starts off the interview saying meat consumption around the world is going up. It's not going down. So it kind of goes back into the echo chamber again, where I see veganism is growing, but there's so many people, billions of people that will simply never go vegan. So we introduced these clean meat or the lab-grown meat industry, where it's a way to produce real meat without slaughtering animals. And there's a whole movement around that right now. I'm actually interviewing someone on Thursday where they're against that industry for certain reasons. So I want to make sure I get both sides of the picture just because I want to be unbiased. But it's really interesting to hear, like in places like India, when people are coming up out of poverty into the middle class, that's when meat consumption in societies start going up. So India, China, Brazil, huge populations, when lower class is rising up, they could finally afford to buy more expensive things and they go to meat. So it's technologies like this that are being invented that I feel is going to be a big part of the solution. And like I said, I want to hear both sides of the story before I become a huge proponent of it. But that's a surprising fact that I learned.
Oh, wow. It's it's a very sort of controversial topic, a lot of these things like the cell-based meats and things like that, and it's something we look forward to exploring in future episodes of our show as well, because there's those two sides of it. One, you get rid of some of the direct slaughter, but then there's the other ethical issues with it. So is it really a product for vegans, or is it just a product to create a more vegan friendly world, you see? And it's really interesting. I can't wait to see more of these interviews and go down that rabbit hole with you as well and learn so much about it. But is there anyone who is still on your wish list at the moment, someone who you're still trying to get hold of and learn from their experience?
That is a great question. Off the top of my mind, it's like one interview leads to another, one introduction leads to another, and I'm getting in contact with people I never thought I'd be able to speak with. I interviewed Dr. Clapper, Dr. Esselstyn, and I can't think of anyone specific off the top of my mind. I know there's some organizations in the US, there's like as a PCRM, the Good Food Institute. There's people within there that I love to speak with. Obviously, since I'm fundraising to help fund the project, if there's philanthropy groups, that's not in the film. Well, I could include that in the film, but that's a whole nother side of documentary production that I'm learning about, where besides just the video interviews, the financing, getting on Netflix, if I could get in contact with someone who chooses which film is going there, that'd be great. But in general, I interviewed more people than I thought I would be able to get in contact with, and I just have faith that more will come.
Absolutely. We'll have to have a bit of a brainstorm and see if we can help connect you with some people. But, for people out there watching, one of the things that drew our attention to Andrew's project is, as we said, this is a huge labor of love for him. It's a huge undertaking. Here he is in Australia, and over the space of a year, well, more than a year now, you've devoted an entire year to interviewing and connecting with more than 50 experts in the field of the whole vegan movement. We've got the experts on the climate, how going vegan will benefit that. You've got the health aspect, and of course the animals. And this is such a huge undertaking for you to do. And as you mentioned, you've got a Kickstarter. We need to bring this film to life. It is fantastic. We'll make sure that we show you the trailer. Are we showing the trailer here, or are we?
I can try show the trailer during this after. but I haven't done so yet because this being our first live stream,
We don't
I'm
know if
worried
it's
about
going to
technical
work.
difficulties.
If it doesn't work, it's
But,
online somewhere.
Yeah,
we'll tell you where it is,
Yeah.
but definitely, you know, the trailer is well worth watching. It's really will give you a taste of things to come and why this is such an important film, why it needs to get out there. So, Andrew, you have got a Kickstarter going. It finishes soon, so we need all the help that we can get in bringing this film to reality. What do we need to be doing? What goals are we helping you to achieve by getting behind your Kickstarter?
Absolutely. So I mentioned most of the interviews so far are conducted over Zoom like this, so it's not the best 4K quality. So if I want to stand a chance on Netflix, I have to upgrade to Netflix approved camera gear and make sure that when the film comes out, whether it's on Netflix, if they accept it or not, or Amazon Prime or Hulu or wherever it is, I just want to make sure it's the best production quality possible. So that's why I launched the Kickstarter to upgrade all the camera, the audio equipment, and all the things along those lines. I think I mentioned before we did the live stream where my first in-person interview with Aline Durr, it was in the northern beaches of Sydney, vegan interior design house, and all the Zarkatas, just the American version of like crickets, thousands of them in the background of the audio quality. So making sure we get everything, all the pieces together. That's the main thing for launching it. And that allows me to be able to go to the UK and film plant-based health professionals groups over there and just make sure it's the best quality. So that's what it's going for. And ultimately just get the message out to show the blueprint for changing the world. But also the big thing I learned from the film was I'm interviewing all these people, like I mentioned, politicians. Emma Hurst is doing amazing work, famous doctors, celebrities, people that are helping change the economic system. But aside from my boredom story, one of the things that lit the compassion in my heart is when I was transitioning to veganism, one of my friends, she posted a picture of a sheep on Facebook, a fundraiser for medical bills. It's like $1,000. And once I saw that, that lit the compassion in my heart. And it's one small, insignificant action that someone posted, one post on Facebook, led to me making sure I stay vegan, helping launch a vegan startup that served 30,000 plant-based meals to people, and now filming a documentary. So just one small thing, like I just want to amplify that message to everybody. And the ultimate goal, if people could help support the film, is to inspire other people to make a difference and step up and actually do a change, no matter how small they think it is. It could have a ripple effect that could change the world. So that's ultimately what I'm trying to do with it.
Oh, fantastic. Well, the link should be in the chat for everyone now, so you can see it and you can go to the page if you do want to support it. At least go over there and check it out so you can see some of the goals and everything written up. And also the trailer is there too, which we'll try and share towards the end of this as well. But I also want to say to folks, if you've got any suggestions of people to interview, chuck them in the chat as well. It's always great for us to see. And there may be people we hadn't thought of previously. But it's such a great thing. And I know for Jackie in particular, it was a Facebook petition that got her to go vegan.
It was, yes. So everyone out there who thinks that, you know, like Andrew says, you're stuck in the echo chamber, you're talking to a brick wall, you know, you post things and nobody ever likes or responds to your post. You know, I had a friend that was vegan for 25 years. She was always posting animal rights stuff. And I would be like, scroll. You know, I didn't want to see it. It's like, that's just going to ruin my day. I don't want to know what horrible things are happening. And then one day she asked me to sign a petition to ban farrowing crates for mother pigs. And I thought, oh, yeah, all right. Well, that's not too bad. That's not going to make me too sad. I'll click in and be a good citizen and sign that. And that petition changed me forever. I clicked into it, saw what was happening to mother pigs in my own country and thought, that is it. You know, I can never contribute to any animal suffering knowingly again. And so, you know, we all have those light bulb moments that lead us to be doing, you know, what we are doing and where we are now. I have to, you know, listening to you talk and about the huge undertaking, obviously, there are a few challenges going on in the world at the moment, which makes it, as you say, a little bit trickier to go and interview people in, for example, UK or wherever at the moment. I'd love to know what other challenges would you consider the greatest that you faced in doing this? Obviously, you know, you've got the finances, the distribution, and even I heard somewhere that even Netflix, you have to have proper Netflix approved cameras. I mean, how do we just go out and get one of those, you know?
Absolutely. So I guess number one comes to the production quality, where I mentioned there's the sound quality, where when I was interviewing Emma Hurst in Parliament, where there's like drilling down the hole. So like being able to edit that out, get in touch with the right people, like video editors, audio editors to help with that. The funding is the biggest thing I'm noticing, where in order to get the Netflix approved camera gear, that on their website they list what they need, and 90% of the film has to be on it. So I already know the Panasonic S1H. I'm just visualizing in my hand already, and that way I won't have to spend hundreds of dollars per day for freelance videographers to help with the interviews. Other challenges, honestly, I found that the vegan community is just so great, where like everyone I speak with is so supportive of it. I speak to people in the media, people who are just on LinkedIn, Facebook, and everybody's so supportive. And I'd say just like the fundraising is the biggest challenge. The audio quality is something I could figure out. That's a challenge. But in general, things are flowing and coming together really just great.
That's fantastic. When you have those true passion products, they do come together, you know. And I know for myself as a filmmaker, video editor, I do the audio editing for this. Things like the drill are absolutely nightmare, and so often you have to just roll with those punches whilst you're on location, and just we know all too well what you mean about with like the cicadas. If we were to open the glass door here right now, you would be welcomed by the sound of New Zealand, and we have one very noisy bird right here who just goes doot 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 like every hour non-stop. But no, it's so fantastic to see you like just pushing through it. And you know, is it your hope that hopefully you can start getting overseas to do some more of these in-person interviews soon?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you mentioned the one last thing for the challenges is, sorry, just you ever say something and your brain just kind of loses the track of thought? But yeah, back
all
to
the time.
It'll probably come back at the right time while you're speaking came up. But yeah, getting overseas, just I know I'm going to be filming in the UK, Berlin, Toronto. There's a great group of vegans there that I'm speaking with, California, and then the East Coast of the US. So you know, once the funding comes together and everything, there's places everywhere. So if anyone listening knows people, especially in those cities, those are definitely on the list. And I'll be in Sydney, Australia right now. So if anyone's from Sydney, I'd be glad to talk to anyone here.
Oh, fantastic. Actually, when you go to the US, we'll have to put you in touch with our friends and partners at the Animal Activism Mentorship. Absolutely. They are an absolutely fantastic community and just brilliant folks. We absolutely love them. If we were heading over to the States to see anybody, it would be them. And so they will probably know or have a couch for you to crash on once you're over there. So
definitely. I'd love to know actually with the Kickstarter, what is your, you know, if everything comes together the way that we hope that it will for you, what sort of time frame are you looking at? When do you want to have the completed film out there in an ideal world?
In an ideal world, I would have had it out already, because when I started filming, I was a little bit more ambitious with border closures and things like that. But I put on the Kickstarter January of next year, but I'm always overly ambitious. So it might be 12 months, it might be 15 months, it might be later 2023 next year. So I don't have the exact time frame, but that's what I'm looking for. And then if it takes an extra 3 months to get distribution on something really big like Netflix, it might be 3 months after, but that's the general time frame there.
Well, we'll do all we can to help you support it. It's such an important film, and I think anyone will see that from the trailer, definitely.
It's been interesting, actually. We've been in a lot of discussions recently with other filmmakers, and this whole topic of distribution it's been quite a problematic thing lately. It's almost as if when the music industry moved to more online streaming, there's like huge shift in that. It's almost like the film industry is doing the same now, despite this already being able to stream. Getting the distribution is becoming increasingly difficult, but thankfully there are brilliant platforms getting out there like Water Bear Media. They're a great platform, and also our partners at Unchained TV. And so I look forward to seeing it on whichever platform it manages to get on. But I know Vegan FTA will be supporting it as much as we can.
Definitely. Yeah. You introduced me to Jane with Unchained TV, and I love what she's doing. And that's the thing I forgot what I was saying before. When I was speaking to her and some other people, they said the name Creating a Vegan World, and kind of going back to my comment, like people's interests, like seeping through other names, where that's something I've heard maybe 5 or 6 times. Is it the name to get on Netflix, or if it's strictly going through a vegan platform, of course, vegans will watch it. So that's one of the challenges. But speaking of Unchained TV, like when I was speaking to Jackie by email, one of the idea was I'm filming so much content here. For example, Seth from Tofurkey, he's up in Portland. I'm going to be interviewing him. He has I believe, an eco-friendly production facility. doing great things with his packaging and just not just about veganism, but environmentally, I guess, sustainable businesses. I just know there's so much I want to film there, but it can't be filmed in a documentary. So it'd be great to have platforms like Unchained TV to create like mini episodes and put them on there. I love what she's doing with that.
I really look forward to that. And I just want to address Marion in the comments. Hopefully we will try and show the trailer towards the end of this screening. I just don't want to try and change things right now because this is the first time doing it. I don't want to crash it. But hopefully we'll share it at the end. Otherwise, we will provide a link so you can go and check out the trailer. But yeah,
definitely. We should do a plug for Unchained TV actually while we're here, as you mentioned it.
And Vegan FTA, wrong side. Vegan FTA, we now have our own channel on there as well, so you can check out our content on there whilst you're waiting for Andrew's to be on there. So
Unchained TV also has an app as well. So if you're watching on your phone or you've got your phone handy, make sure you download the app. It's completely free and you can watch all the vegan content you like, including ours.
Yeah, and also you can do the Amazon Fire Stick. I am unaware of this product, but I believe it's the streaming thing to your TV or something like that. Somebody needs to inform me on that one. But yeah, it's on all sorts of platforms, and so you'll be able to watch Creating a Vegan World, the mini series from that, hopefully on streaming onto your big TV in the living room. So that will be fantastic. And definitely. We know so much from filmmaking we've done and our partners and friends who've made films. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of footage that just don't end up seeing the daylight, and such a shame. So I really look forward to seeing what comes up in that, because I know there's a hard drive hidden in my desk here that is harboring a lot of unseen footage.
Definitely. We've got hopefully we can show you the trailer, but one way or the other, Gareth has put the link already to Andrew's Kickstarter page, which has the trailer on it. And you will also see that he's kindly provided a couple of interviews as well. One is with Aileen, the vegan interior designer, which is great. And also Emma Hurst, one of my personal heroines from the Australian Animal Justice Party. So that will give you a taster of it's just going to be fantastic. It's going to be a brilliant movie. And I know, fundraising is always hard. It's always a challenge, particularly for vegan projects. And, we all know the importance of as vegans of investing our dollars where it counts. So, any way that you can support or share this project would be fantastic.
That'd be really helpful. I appreciate that. And yeah, on the Kickstarter, it's not just a donation. So people get first access to view it before it's on the major platforms when I'm done, and even get your name in the credits and things along those lines. So there's little rewards there. And I hate like going out asking for money, but like it's something that has to be done to make these type of things come to life. So I really appreciate that and you mentioning it.
Oh, absolutely. And we understand the trials of that. I think for some reason, nobody likes asking for money, as you say. And particularly there is some things as vegans, I think, people think that we live on, fresh air and goji berries anyway. I mean, most of the
freshly
outside
mown lawn and all the
exactly,
good stuff.
And it comes to finances as well. It's like, what are we supposed to change the world with? We all need to be lifting each other up and helping to create that vegan world. So thank you so much for all you are doing. We'll be following your progress. Can't wait to see it finish. I know you will get there.
And where else can our followers go to follow this work? I understand you have a YouTube channel. Are there any other social media platforms that we can send our folks to?
Absolutely. So all the interviews I've done on Zoom are posted on our YouTube channel. It's called Creating a Vegan World. Just search for it on YouTube. We have Facebook, Instagram, a Facebook group. I think it's Vegan World Film on Instagram. Where most of the content that we're putting out is on YouTube. So if you go there, that's probably the best place to go. And veganworldfilm.com, depending when you watch this. Right now it's redirecting to the Kickstarter, but eventually I'll put together like a webinar kind of summarizing what I learned on the website there. So right now just go to YouTube.
Awesome. Well, we will be sure to add these into the description. Now, I'm just going to bring up the trailer. So hopefully this will work for you, Marion, and everyone else who is watching this. I will try and do a screen share. And as I say, bear with me. First time using StreamYard, which, to be honest, I'm finding a fantastic experience so far. I'm not paid to say that, just so people know. But yeah, I'll just try and share this. And
hi, Claire. Great to see you, Claire Nelman. I see you.
But and this will be recorded as well for anybody who has missed out. And I'll quickly address as well with citizen journalist, how many second generation lifelong vegans. We've got a reminder from Alexa. I don't even hear what that was.
It's about my son. Don't worry.
Anyway, throwing me off topic, but
Must be 10:30 where we are.
yeah, I was just going to say to citizen journalists, how many second generation lifelong vegans are there currently? I could not give you an answer to that, but if you check out a website called Faunalytics, it is a fantastic website, possibly someone for you to interview as well for the film. The way that they bring together all the stats, they would probably be my best bet for trying to find out that answer. But
also Serena Farb. Serena Farb may be a good person to.
She's good for a lot of scientific stats, but I think Faunalytics gives a they do a lot of broad spectrum stuff around that, so that'll be a good one to check out. Right, let's try and share this, and this is going to be interesting, folks. Brace yourselves.
Fingers crossed. Hold my tongue right.
And also listen to my musing whilst I hum away trying to find this file. Here we go.
The joys of life.
Any problems in this world. This is a story of what it takes to change the world, told by the people who are already doing it, regardless of the impact you want to make. It's up to you to be the solution.
If we're going to transition into plant-based agriculture, there's a massive process that needs to happen.
We need a big, professional, lobbying organization that can bring this message to lawmakers, because ultimately that's where the power is. You can stand out on the street holding a sign all day long, we can write books, we can make movies, but when we get laws passed at the state and federal level, we are making immediate, wide-scale change.
If 10% of American vegans gave just $10 a month, we would out-influence big animal ag.
My hope is that people listening to this will contemplate what they can do to get into the game and actually make a difference, to help move the alternative protein movement forward and help start solving this problem of increased meat consumption that the world is facing right now.
As we want to change the world, we need people who are using innovation. Vegan businesses create alternatives to products that are harming animals or hurting our environment.
We have to create a demand so that suppliers and manufacturers are forced to look into alternatives.
Rather than fighting with consumers and asking them to give up something they love, whether it's meat or leather, we're saying, hey, here's something better, but you're not giving up anything.
Restaurants are starting to realize that they need to adapt, because if they're not going to adapt their menus and at least cater to the vegan community, they're going to miss out.
I'm excited about how I feel. I feel so much better now that I'm not eating meat. You want to live a healthy life. You want to feel better when you're 70, 80 years old. You got to start getting educated.
I didn't go into medicine to manage chronic disease. I wanted to cure people. And these diseases are reversible.
We can not only halt disease progression, but we often will see significant elements of disease reversal.
Things have changed so much. I don't think back in the day people even knew what the word vegan meant. 9 out of 10 people now know.
So it is possible for us to see a thriving earth, abundance of food, abundance of biodiversity, and a stable climate. That's all possible.
My hope is that people listening to this will contemplate what they can do to get into the game and actually make a difference.
Once we get a groundswell in those individual behavior changes, once we get a groundswell in corporate change, then there's pressure to create that political change. And when there's political change, we will see dramatic shifts in animal protection.
If you care about this issue, it's not enough to just be vegan. You have to do more.
And it worked.
I've muted myself before, but I hope everyone is as excited as me. This is probably about the 5th time I've watched that now, but I'm
still love it every time. Yeah.
If you folks are excited in the comments, please let us know. Thank you so much for making this film. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, Andrew. Do you have any other closing comments you'd like to leave?
Absolutely. Just, I guess the biggest message is there's going vegan, and then there's doing something more, like the final thing my trailer said, where no matter how small something is, it has a huge ripple effect. So even if it's veganism or something you're passionate about, such as helping other people, the environment, whatever it is, the more we make a change in the world and do something to help other people and other animals, then the little things pick up really big. So I guess that's my core message right there.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. As we said at the start, we all play our unique role in helping spread the vegan movement around the world. And thank you for doing this in such a big, big way. I'm so glad that you felt a bit bored that day.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. And yeah, I hope everyone here has enjoyed it as much as we have. And we'll tune in again for another episode of Vegan ATF, Vegan Activists to Follow. And please, there's a link again in the description to get to the Kickstarter. Please support this project if you can.
Please share with your friends as well.
Either this discussion, the trailer too. Check out their social media feeds. It'll be a fantastic thing. And thank you so much.
Thank you.